Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. A talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Agnes Amisano. And we're going to be discussing her incredible memoir, 7 Rings, 1 Love. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, man, it's a lot of other places. Do yourself a favor, skip all that, head on over to her personal website, all right? That's agnesamisano.com. There, man, listen, you're going to gather more information on her. You're going to gather more information on this incredible book, but get this. Agnes has been putting in some work, okay? She is not a one-trick pony. She's got 3 other books that she's co-authored, also available through the website, but also a podcast that you're going to want to check out. And that's just on life, man. The podcast is on love. It's on death. It's even on taxes, all right? Because in a previous life, that was her career. She worked on taxes. So for anybody out there that needs some assistance, you know the person to look into, all right? Now, once again, that's agnesamisano.com. Head on over there today. And I quickly want to point out the fact that she was brought to us by Author Reputation Press. So for my writers out there who have gone through their process, spending some endless nights, it seems, creating that masterpiece, and now you've done it, but you need some assistance moving it. Head on over to authorreputationpress.com, gather all of the ways that their fantastic team is well equipped to help you do just that. And listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Agnes here on the line. People, let's be real for a second, man. Navigating modern love, man, oh my good, it could feel like a part-time job with some terrible benefits, right? I mean, we're swiping, and then we get a conversation and we're ghosting. My goodness, you gotta try to decipher the 3-word text message. It's such a pain, right? I'm so grateful that I found my wife, because my goodness, I couldn't do it anymore. By the time we had found each other, we were both exhausted, all right? We had been through the ringer, and it was just like, it was like the heaven gates. They just opened up, and it was like, oh yes, there she is. So what happens when you choose love not just once, but 7 times? Whew. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, enter in Agnes here, because her memoir, 7 Rings, 1 Love, man, she's been through relationship rings long before DMs were a thing. And her journey from heartbreak to the lasting 7th marriage is the ultimate masterclass in keeping your faith and love alive, even when your texts are on red and when you're ghosted. And whew, my goodness. People, sit back, strap in, man. This is going to be one that you're going to love being a part of, and you're going to run and purchase your copies after you've concluded, because you're going to realize this is an entertaining read, but it just might give you that extra bit of faith to keep your search alive. Agnes, welcome to the network, and thank you for being a guest. How are you doing today?
Hi, Benji. It's an honor to be on your show. Thank you so much for having me.
Agnes, listen, it's an honor to have you here. All right. I was telling you during the pre-screening call, girl, I love this book. I love the concept. I love the bravery of being the one to come out here and be like, yeah, I did this thing over and over and over, and I didn't give up, because so many of us are finding ourselves in that exact same thing. I was in the same boat when, again, before my wife and I had met each other. Maybe the previous relationships didn't get to the altar, but man, there was some attempts, okay? And I love what you've done here. Thank you for being a guest, and thank you for writing the book. Let's jump right in. Tell us more about yourself, and then leading into the book, because it's a memoir.
It is a memoir full of facts that they were quite painful to admit to. During conversations with anyone, you will hear somebody's achievements, somebody's things that they achieved their goals. In this memoir, I'm achieving to my mistakes, to all the heartache, to all the betrayals that I went through.
Yeah.
And it's very important to ask yourself, instead going forward with making one mistake after another, and a lot of us is doing that.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to do that when you don't know exactly yourself. So at a certain point, I had to stop and evaluate who I am, evaluate my past, evaluate my childhood, to understand, oh, this is what I'm doing. That's what is happening. Because at the end of the day, we are a product of our environment, and where we are coming from with certain values, with certain ideas, we project that into our adult life, into relationships that we are going through, and expectations in many, many cases, expectations that we're coming into relationships with those expectations. They are not realistic. They are simply not realistic. And at the end, guess what happens? We're getting over our heads, and we are hurting. And we are hurting, and then it's easy to blame someone for it when at the end of the day, we are the ones who hooked up the whole situation. That was our doing, and it's difficult to admit to that.
Difficult to admit to it, and also something that I think it's so reflective and really liberating, I guess, to a certain degree as well. And I want to thank you for doing that, because I know, just speaking from my own perspective, like looking back, and I think this is one of the great things about age, right? And as you grow, you kind of look back at the chapters of your life and you can look at them from a fresh perspective. When you're in them, sometimes, you may not be willing to address some of the mistakes that you have made, leading to a potential, like in this instance, because we're talking about relationships, a potential ending, right? And I think that that's a beautiful thing that you've done here. And that's where I want to go next with regards to this, because like the blurb in your book, it talks about how every ring tells a story, not of failure, but of faith. And that is a profound reframing. And I think it gets to the heart of all of this, right? Really shifting perspective, being very retrospective, or introspective, rather. Well, what was that pivotal moment for you? Like when you stopped seeing the ring as an ending and actually began seeing it as an act of faith in love in itself?
From a very young age, I had different perspective on life. I think that was a gift from God that I had, that I look at some situations and I was like, this is not right. Looking from my perspective, I was way too young to see that, but I remember thinking that.
Yeah.
So my first idea of relationship was based, as a young child, was based on movies, because I came from, I was raised by a single mother. So I never had that full picture of the role of a woman in a relationship. I only knew one role, as a mother.
Yeah.
And I embraced that, which was one of my biggest mistakes at the very beginning. But I'm also persistent. I knew that, okay, this obviously, when anyone goes to the altar or get engaged, because not all the 7 relationships end up with marriage, but there were engagement rings, so that's why there are 7 rings. When I saw some red flags, I chose to paint them green. I chose to believe that, oh no, that person simply deserves another chance. But what I was going through, and God knows, all the relationships were extremely special, that life doesn't really prepare you for that. You hear about different situations, but when it happens to you, it's like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, right.
But then I was like, no, that cannot be the end. That simply cannot be the end of me. That has to be someone that I will find myself with. And before I found that person, which is my husband, my current husband and the last husband, I have to tell you, I have to realize that I've been approaching everything from the wrong perspective. That beside what was done to me, I could have avoided if I would have been a bit smarter, if I wouldn't be as naive, if I would open my eyes to reality of the situation. You can get to the goal that you want to get to, but first you have to understand yourself and you have to love yourself. The biggest mistake that I have noticed in a couple that I was counseling, and I still am, especially with young women, he's going to change for me because he's going to love me so much.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to change for me.
Oh, yeah.
Or you hear another thing. Oh, I have to marry you because you make me happy. Number one, there is nobody's responsibility to make you happy.
Yes.
You cannot put that burden on anybody's shoulders. You have to find yourself, you have to understand yourself, and you have to be happy with who you are. Then you are ready to start looking for your life partner. That's the biggest issue in relationships. You have to be happy with who you are. No one has a responsibility to make you happy.
I think that's such a great piece of advice. Like, I love that. And I think, it was something that when thinking back, because of course this is what's great about memoirs is it forces reflection. And I'm listening to you talk and I'm of course rolling through the memories and going down the line. And I can remember, and this was something that I was aware of, but I remember a lot of my earlier relationships, I was so invested, I was so engulfed in them that I almost lost my identity, right? Like my identity became this relationship. It became this person that I was tied to. And then every single time that it fell apart, now it's hitting the reset button. It's getting back to who is Benji? What do I even like? And I think that's such a crucial component and something to be aware of and mindful of. Thank you for addressing it and bringing it up. And people, listen, man, there are gems like this filled in her book. That's why you got to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Remember to check out her personal website, agnesamisano.com. Check out the other books that she's co-authored. Check out her podcast. There is just a wealth of knowledge that you're going to want to get involved with. But it starts here with 7 Rings, 1 Love. And we're going to transition in a moment to some of your other books, Agnes. But as we start to kind of put a bow here on 7 Rings, 1 Love, what I understand about memoirs is that reflection, as I'm hearing you talk and it's forcing me to reflect, that reflection also happened with you, right? As you're writing this, you're going through those memories yourself and you're almost to a degree reliving a lot of those experiences. You mentioned at the top of the show how the book is very vulnerable. There are some, I can't remember the exact word, I want to say embarrassing, but maybe that's too strong and you didn't use that. But bottom line is, there are aspects found in the book that are very close to you, that from an outside perspective, like we all look at you and we're like, man, that takes bravery, because there's certain aspects about our own life that we could all relate to and we'd rather sweep it under the rug. We don't even want to acknowledge it ourselves, let alone tell the world. So understanding that, let's go back into the writing process a bit. How did you navigate the vulnerability of sharing some shocking elements, sharing some things that maybe could have been embarrassing? What was that compass that helped you decide, this I'm going to put in, this I'm leaving out?
Benji, that was the most difficult experience in my life. This book is a labor of love. It took me over 10 years to get everything put together. And embarrassing, yes, that's one of the words that we definitely can use. Embarrassing, showing how naive and simple word, stupid decisions. A lot of those marriages were marriages of convenience. That's why it's 7 Rings, 1 Love. Mm-hmm. Love had very little to do with other relationships, but the end is beautiful. The end is beautiful. So, you know what? It was worth it. It was worth it to go through all that difficulties, all that heartbreak, all that betrayals. And one thing that I got from that I learned, I'm admitting to my mistakes, but I'm also acknowledging the lessons.
Yeah.
My whole life was life lesson. And let me tell you, no university will give you that knowledge, what I gained. And I was able to apply to my life now, and I feel blessed. I really feel blessed.
As I mentioned before, 7 Rings, One Love. You got to pick it up. But remember, there are 3 other books that she has co-authored as well. We don't have a ton of time to go into all of them, Agnes, but please, dealer's choice, choose another one of your books and tell us a little bit more about it.
So you think you are ready to be married. I think every single person should pick it up and go through it. There are basic 8 subjects that you should ask yourself and get the right answers, very true answers to yourself. Especially in this country, we are really melting pot. You have people, I officiate a lot of weddings for people from different cultures and different religions, and we are running into a lot of differences. And yes, there is possibility to find common ground, but you have to address that. So communication is the most important, not assumption that someone will change for you. Because at certain age, we don't change. In mature age, we don't change. What you see, that's what you get. Just assuming that you're going to be able to change someone, that's just not fair to that someone. So that book is extremely important to read.
There's so much to take from today's discussion. I know a lot of you listening in right now, you're ready to give up on love, man. You're jaded. Her story is proof that love, it's not about that perfect swipe. It's about continuing to swipe on life again and again, and even again sometimes, if that's what it takes. Like anything in life, it takes investment. It takes time and dedication, and it's left me hopeful. Agnes, this has been a true delight. I really do mean that. Such an honor. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you for having me, Benji. You've been wonderful. Thank you.